Hey, this is Gerry Visca, the publisher of Defyeneurs, and welcome to the new issue, the Top 50 Health and Wellness Tips. And we are super excited about the power and energy of this publication and the lineup of world-class experts that I'm truly inspired to shine light on. And this is an extraordinary live interview that we include in each issue of Defyeneurs, and it's connected to each profile. So get ready, because we are live with Andrus Morissette. Welcome, Crystal.
Oh, hello. I'm so excited to be here, Gerry.
Crystal, this is one live interview that I've been, anticipating, and it's really exciting to see the global difference that you're making. It's truly an honor to have your energy in this issue of Defyeneurs. So I just want to share, there's a quote that you share in your profile, and I love it, and it goes like this: I want to be a catalyst for global women's rights so that women everywhere can experience a better life. I love that. So share with us, Crystal, why have you chosen to serve others through health and wellness?
Like I said in the profile, I think a lot of times we think we choose things, but there's a bigger plan at work, and it found me. Health and wellness found me. It was my way out. It was my way of being in my body. I went through a lot of trauma growing up, as many of us do, that we don't even talk about it. A lot of us don't realize, and the body is where that trauma is held. And for me, I think being able to really access my body, to be able to be in my body, not just from the neck up, was like a massive part of my own personal healing emotionally. So being in the body, health and wellness, I was an athlete growing up. It gave me a sense of strength. It gave me a sense of camaraderie, being part of a team, having a coach, being able to be coachable, being able to listen, and someone who understood it from a different perspective could share with me what I was doing right, what I was doing wrong, how I could improve. And that whole process for me was just so life-changing. Once, I left high school and, went off on my own, and I gained a lot of weight in my 20s, and I knew there was a massive component of my life that was missing, and that was fitness, that was health and wellness, and that was finding my way back to me being in my body and healing those aches and pains and the connections to my past. And it all might sound a little woo-woo, but I really think the body is a messenger, and I couldn't have done the healing work that I did without being connected to the body. So once I started to kind of have the formula, almost that's what it felt like, this sort of magical formula of how to really heal, I knew I had to share it. And so health and wellness has been just this beautiful venue, or this beautiful vehicle that's helped me to help other women.
I love that. Chris, you have such a beautiful energy, and I love that you share about how being in your body and this deeper understanding of yourself, and how you found your way back to. I just think that's so profound. You were impacted, you share at the Vancouver Peace Summit 2009, and, there was this comment by the Dalai Lama around the Western woman will heal the world. And I love how you speak about emotional edges. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Well, Emotional Edge is actually the name of my latest book. I did a book with Random House, and it was gosh, it's crazy, because I've written other books, 3 other books with Hay House Publishing, and I feel like I sat down and those books just whizzed out of me in about 6 weeks, one of them in about a month. But the Emotional Edge was different, and it was sort of this brand new concept, and this idea that, scientists have theorized that we all have a biological age. So if you health and wellness, if you're taking great care of yourself, biologically you could be a lot younger than your chronological age. But it kind of shocked me after years and years of coaching, training, working with women primarily, that no scientist had theorized on emotional age, sort of the idea that we all show up in our different relationships with a different level of empowerment. So emotional age was a concept I coined. It kind of blows me away. I hired some research assistants, and I said, search every psychology book, background, medical journal. Am I stealing something from someone? Where did I get this from? How am I downloading this information? And, they came back and said, well, no, there was something in the 70s that was kind of called transactional analysis, but no, this is new material. So that really juiced me up, and I knew that I really had to do it right. So what I've learned is, you're only as strong or as wise as the people around you. And so I had a great editor, and just women who were brilliant, men who were brilliant, that posed questions and asked me, all kinds of different ways until I really was able to coin the topic, create the philosophy and concepts around it, and we came up with the idea of calling the book The Emotional Edge. And so the emotional edge, if you think about, I bring it right back to, funny enough, you asked me, one of our very first conversations, you asked me, why are you here? And I had to take it right back to the Big Bang, of course, because there's a science background that I love. And so we live in this ever-expanding universe. We know now, scientists know that the planets are slowly moving apart, actually moving apart at quite a speed, and that we are this microcosm of the universe. And so we were intended to expand our lives. And I think for a lot of us, we were taught that what goes up must come down, and it's just not true. If you were to, and Stephen Hawking talks about this, of course, the brilliant physicist in A Brief History of Time, he says if you were to fire a rocket ship away from the Earth at a critical speed, gravity could never pull it back. In other words, if your desires are at a critical speed, if they're passionate enough, if they're so deeply embedded in who you are, your life doesn't have to. You don't have to send off, a rocket ship of your dreams and expect gravity to pull it back down. And so that became sort of the concept that there's this edge of the universe, and we have that same edge within us. And, there's this beautiful poem Christopher Logue wrote back, I think it was in the 1800s, and he said, come to the edge. We may fall. Come to the edge. It's too high. Come to the edge. And they came, and he pushed, and they flew. So the emotional edge is really about sort of bringing people to their edge, to that place within them that is this sort of balancing. It's a bit of a tightrope where how do I honor the commitments I've made to the people I love and still honor me? How do I honor my life and my dreams? And it is a balancing act, but once we get on that edge, we start just expanding it, and it starts to grow bigger. And then before you know it, your universe, your life, your world has expanded into this greater place, into this bigger place. And what you once thought was, the center of your universe, you realize there's this big world out there and so many options and choices, and it's exciting. And so the emotional edge is always about sort of this place within yourself emotionally that you get to, that you stop because you're afraid, because there's some fear, it's too high. And my job that I love, that I feel like I've sort of been blessed with, is I really do help people fly. I help people get to the edge with safety and to test the boundaries and to see how far they can go. And if they are, I give them a parachute kind of to say, okay, we're going to jump together. Okay, it didn't work this time. It's okay, but you're safe. Let's climb back up to the edge and let's push out again. And so that's really the concept of the emotional edge. And yes, the Dalai Lama said, the Western woman will heal the world. And that, to me, excited me, and it juiced me up because I realized that there are millions and millions and millions and millions of women around the world right now who can't expand their emotional edges, who can't dream, who are oppressed, who can't drive a vehicle, who can't have a career in health and wellness. They can't exercise. They're not allowed to put on a bathing suit. They're not allowed to. It's a big world out there. And so we're here in Canada, and I feel like the Dalai Lama came here and basically told us the world needs us. The world needs you women to heal yourselves so that you can heal your communities, so that you can heal your relationships. And the rest of the world is watching you, and we're seeing what will happen if women are empowered. How will that affect our families? How will that affect our economy? How will that affect? And so I feel a responsibility to take that challenge, or however you would say that he said it, and to really take it seriously and to do something about it. And I believe him, and I believe the Western woman is not more enlightened or not smarter, but we have more opportunities, and we need to take that seriously.
I love it. You've taken us all to the edge, Crystal. I love it. I love your approach to science. You're like this fusion of inspiration with science, and it's getting me super juiced up too. So
yeah, and I think people need that, right? Like I think that I'm a part of. I was with Hay House Publishing for 3 years. Louise Hay is my mentor. She wrote the book You Can Heal Your Life. She sold 35 million copies. It was her that said, "We're signing Crystal." She saw me on the Shopping Channel, and Hay House is very woo woo, and it doesn't mean that their books aren't like holy, can change your life. But there's such this, it's almost like it's a sadness I see in the world where it's like you're either science, you're either Western medicine, or you can be spiritual and woo-woo, but we don't have the studies and to back that. But we're seeing this merging now. We're starting to see that if we can take away certain words and we replace them, whether you say God and you put energy, well, science believes in energy. Science knows everything is energy. Science knows that we're all made up of energy, that if we were to take a piece of your skin or my skin or anyone listening and put it under a microscope, we would zoom down on it and we would see that, yes, we have cells. That's the top layer of who we are. But underneath those cells, we're all made up of billions of little atoms, and those atoms are essentially empty. They're 99.999% empty, and they're just a little tiny bundle of vibrating energy. So when we know that, yeah, you actually are a light being, you're a little energy being, we all resonate at different frequencies. Some of us were really empowered, we really expanded our emotional edges, we have more energy. And if we can talk it in that way, I think the science people start to say, oh, that's what you mean by your inner light. Oh, that's what you mean about shining bright. Oh, that's what you mean when you talk on that woo-woo talk. But it is science, and as we can merge those conversations, I think that more spiritual people will feel so grounded in what they know and feel and experience on a daily basis, and the science people will start to say, oh, so you're not actually saying there's a big guy in the sky with a beard who's raining brimstone and fire down. Oh, you mean you're just actually talking science. Yeah, and that's what I love about the work that I do, is that I really do try to bring as much science into it to back it so that it's real.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Crystal, you've got some really just awesome initiatives on the go, and tell me a bit more about the SWAT Institute, and how you're inspiring others through that.
Oh, it's my baby. Funny enough, my very first book that I self-published was called Simply ... Woman, and it was a health and fitness journey, actually, because after I'd lost the weight that I gained in my pregnancies, which of course I know was an emotional age that was, I call mother energy. I'd had little children and I just wanted to be safe, and I wanted to be a good mother, and I didn't want to create any stress for my husband or for my children, and I didn't want jealousy, I didn't want competition, and so of course I fell into an emotional age I call as a parent archetype, and I gained a lot of weight, and it was an opportunity for me to heal really in that way. A lot of people think weight gain is just you're lazy or it can be a real opportunity to heal in that place as well. But I lost the weight, and I realized at that point that I had stuff to say. I'd never even written in a book before, or in a journal rather. But I self-published the very first book, which Louise Hay happened to see me. I got this great deal on the shopping channel. I sort of thought I was going to be the female Tony Robbins way back 15 years ago. And I got on the shopping channel, and then I knew in that moment, as funny as I wrote that book, I said, I'm going to have a school. I wrote it like I had it. And we're certifying Simply Woman accredited trainers all over the world because I knew I was going to build it one day. And it's sort of that it's okay, not fake it. You can't lie about your accomplishments. You can't lie. You don't fake, but you can fake your dreams to yourself at first. You can say to yourself, I know I'm building it. It's coming, it's happening, and you live as though it's happening, and you begin to make choices as though it's happening. And so I knew 15 years ago, I'm building the SWAT Institute, Simply Woman Accredited Trainer. I didn't want it to be the Crystal Andrus School. I didn't want it to be, because I knew I needed to bring the world's leading movers and shakers, doctors, leading, Marianne Williamson, my gosh, she's just a world-renowned inspirational teacher, a spiritual guru. We have Louise Hay, my own mentor, is in there. Dr. Christiane Northrup, who is a medical doctor and obstetrician. So I reached out, and I after I'd had a couple of books and some success, I reached out, and I knew I was going to build this school. And it's not anti-man, not in the slightest. We all love our men, and if we're not into men, we love our brothers. But we really have a lot of healing to do, and we need a safe place. Women, and sometimes I think when men say, well, why can't I be a part of it? I think you don't want to be a part of it, believe me. You don't want in here. The healing that's going on, the stories that are being shared, the heaviness, the safe place. And then as we help women really heal their own wounded hearts, their own stories, their own past, we then teach them those interventions and those processes so they can then empower other women. They can begin to stretch, and we're all sort of part of this global coalition. And so I'm so excited now because we're in over 30 countries, and my work was just featured on Oprah.com this week. So it's showing me, just build it and have faith in your dream and do it right. Don't rush it. Don't panic. See the bigger picture, and just have the faith that this thing will see itself through. Funny enough, I know Mo Hagan, who's on the cover of this magazine, this wonderful publication that you've put together, and Mo is a part of Good Life and CanFit Pro, and I'm friends with Patch Evans, David Patchell Evans, who's the owner of the clubs. And it was years ago I went to him and said, well, how did you guys create CanFit Pro? What made you CanFit Pro? And he said, because you say it, you build it, you claim it, you own it. I said, well, how can I create an accredited coaching institute? He said, because you will, because you'll build it, and then everything will be up to snuff. You'll build it as though it is the world's Harvard of coaching schools, and keep nursing it, nurturing it, supporting it, and it will one day be the Harvard of coaching schools. And so, I have to give kudos to him, because I asked, how do I build a certification? And he said, build it. And that's, I think, such a great lesson to a lot of people is, don't wait for that moment that you think you're qualified and certified. Just dig in and start building that dream of yours and bring the right people. And don't be afraid of competition. Don't be afraid of competitors. Don't be afraid of what other people are doing. In fact, get to know them. Become friends with them. There's sort of that know thy enemy. Not that they're an enemy, but know what's going on, and just continue to collaborate and share and celebrate each other's successes, and then something magical happens when you're in that place, and it's finally really happening for me. We've now been around for 6 years, and we're finally a 7-figure company, and it's just exciting. It's so exciting to think where I was and to where I am and to where I will be. So the SWAT Institute is my baby, Simply Woman Accredited Trainer, an exclusive empowerment coach certification. So we certify coaches all over the world.
Beautiful. I love it.
And I'm a talker. I told you I was a talker.
Yeah, I love it. Congratulations on the success of that. I think the leading experts, I know them all intimately. They're amazing people. I think, how you brought them all together, it's just a fabulous vision. So I want to get into, I call this profile healing the world, and there's no doubt that, you're just an ultimate global difference maker, Crystal. Share with us, what's next for Crystal Andrus Morissette? And not just what's next, but how can the world support your vision going forward?
Oh, geez, what a big, generous question. What's next for me? I'm working on my next book. It's called On the Edge, and it's actually my story, and sort of like, how did this young 45-year-old woman actually get to this point without knowing somebody famous or having money behind her or having someone do it for her? How did this girl that moved out at 15 and was homeless for 3 years, how did she find these pieces and pull them all together? And so that's the next book I'm working on, and it's going to be really powerful because it's not just going to be my story. It's the story of all of us, really, and I'm going to tell it my way, but I think that a lot of people, men and women, who've come through a lot of trauma, maybe some people will say, ooh, I can't even read this. It's too much. It's too hard. It makes my heart hurt. Whereas I think a lot of people will feel liberated to know that no matter what happened to you, a good life you're still deserving of it, and happiness awaits you if you'll expand your edges and allow yourself to reach that happy place. So that's my next thing. Of course, I'm always just, I don't get too far ahead because I get excited every morning when I open up my email and find out, the next sort of, oh, I've been asked to speak down, in Florida at this, or, oh, I'm going to be flying to Aruba for that. So that stuff for me is just exciting that it's all sort of unfolding. I have to keep showing up. I have to keep doing the work. I have to keep doing my personal work. I have to keep doing my physical. I have to stay energized and in shape. But my biggest thing is I really do want to just continue to build a global coalition for women. So I have a magazine. People can support by reading the magazine, writing for our our magazine. We're always looking for great contributors, people who can write. So, I mean, anyone listening right now, go to simplywoman.com, or after the interview at some point, you'll see an absolutely beautiful magazine that tackles world issues for women right down to intimate issues, relationship conversations. We'd love you to be part of our world. Obviously, it's a free, safe place. Find me on Facebook. You know, I reach up to 14 million people now on Facebook. So just getting to know each other. I think the most important thing I've learned is everybody has a story, and every story matters. And so me being able to share their stories helps my work, and that, you know, it's just sort of what you're doing. How do we focus and showcase other people? That's a really big, important part of what I'm doing. And for me, as my students are graduating, you know, and then starting to see them go out there, and we have so many students now who have their own books and their own, maybe not schools, but their own courses and their own summits and their own, you know, for me to be able to just watch that and see that continue to grow, I almost feel, as silly as it sounds, like this mother, like this Mother Earth. And I, as much as I'm a goddess, don't get me wrong, I'm not all mother, I got a lot of women in there, but I just want to nurture and see people fly. Like I said, I love taking people to the edge and giving them that little push and helping them fly. So in any way that I can do that, that actually comes back and feeds me and nurtures me when I see the good stuff I've done, and then those people are doing their good thing. That's the big payoff.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Crystal Andrus Morissette, healing the world, helping the world fly. She's on the inside back cover of the most epic issue of Defyeneurs, top 50 health and wellness tips, and just on behalf of everyday people doing extraordinary things worldwide, I just want to thank you for sharing your beautiful gifts with the world and for bringing this great energy to this issue of Defyeneurs. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If I can just say one last thing here. You know, there's a picture, and I'm not sure if it's going to make it, if it did make it into the into the article, but there's a picture of me standing with two of my students, and one of them is a master empowerment coach, and the other one is just about to graduate, and they will be one of the 50 tips, these two magnificent, beautiful women, Kathy Mergel and Sylvana, and I just want to say to them as well, you know, these were just women. You know, I think Sylvana's 60 now, and these were women who didn't know their voice and their power and their strengths. And so I want to celebrate them as well, and I want to celebrate all of the people that are in this publication that you put together. I'm honored to be in that lineup of amazing people, and I want to thank you. Thank you for including me, and thank you for having me be a part of this, because that's what this is all about, all of us sharing and caring and supporting each other. So thank you so much.